Good morning, everyone. In this video, I'm going to share with you the single biggest thing that has contributed towards me moving into my own 300 square meter warehouse, pushing out over 100 orders per day in my e-commerce store and making more money than I ever thought was possible. But before that, we just got to feed the dogs and get to the warehouse. As a business owner or entrepreneur, it's so easy to get pulled into different business opportunities and ideas, but the one thing that no one is talking about is the fact that more often than not, you can only really focus on one thing. Now, every single business guru talks about focus and how you should be focusing more, but quite often and more often than not, it's actually quite hard to wrap your head around. So I've broken it down into 3 simple, digestible pieces that can hopefully make it a little bit easier for you to not only understand, but to take action and try and get some more focus within your entrepreneurial journey. So let's get straight into them. Point number 1, you can have everything, you just can't have everything all at once. So I heard this a couple of weeks ago and it really resonated with me because I think as an entrepreneur or business owner, you see so many of these big entrepreneurs and they have various businesses and they're investing in businesses and they have multiple income streams. However, what so often they forget to talk about is the fact that most of these huge entrepreneurs that you know of made the majority of their money and built the majority of their success from one thing, one business, one idea, and they grew that and they scaled that. And then once they had a little more flexibility, possibly had a bit more money, they were then able to go and invest in this and hire more staff and spend some more time here and spend some more time there. And that really resonated with me. The fact that you can have everything, you just can't have it all at once. So if you just focus on one thing for a certain period of time, there will come a time where you can then start to dilute that focus. And that conveniently actually brings me on to point number 2. Nice. There's birds in the warehouse. Okay. That brings me on to point number 2. The fact that you only have so much time, right? Now, one of the biggest mistakes I made personally was I started to dilute my time way too early on throughout my entire business career, which by the way is not the longest business career. I'm only 33. I've mentioned this in another video, but I have started and launched a whole heap of new businesses and the majority of them have not been a success due to this exact reason. The fact that I started to buy back my time by hiring staff and outsourcing certain tasks before I actually had the money to do that. I 100% underestimated the amount of time that it takes to build a real business. And I'm not talking about a passion project, I'm talking about a business that can move into a space like this, that can push out the amount of orders that we're pushing out a day. You're hiring new staff on a weekly basis. You got profit at the end of the month. I'm talking about a real business. And I'm not saying that your business isn't real. I'm just saying that I definitely 100% personally underestimated the amount of time it takes to build a real profitable business. You only have so much time in a day, and when you start to dilute that time, you start to take away focus and effort and concentration and clarity from what you're currently trying to do and achieve. And until you've gotten to the point where you're able to take a little step back from the business, buy back some of your time, hire a manager that can oversee certain tasks that maybe you're doing right now, diluting your time is possibly the worst thing you can possibly do. And the last point I want to speak about is experience. Now, I went wrong here for many years as well. I've been wrong for the majority of my life, if I could just put that out there. But where I went wrong, I think, was before I actually got the experience in growing a business successfully, scaling a business successfully, learning the operation side of a business, the fulfillment side of the business, which you can only learn once you're here and you're doing it. You cannot learn these skills in a book. Sure, you can learn the theory, but when something goes pear-shaped and it all goes sideways, that's not really in a book. You need to handle that head on, and the only way to learn how to handle that is to go through it. And you go through it in the bad way, and then there's a bad outcome, and then you realize that maybe you should do it another way, and then the outcome is far better. But the point of this is you need to stay focused on one thing, because the more focused you are, the more chance you have of getting that experience of growing a real business. And I know that might sound trivial and it might sound a little bit cliche, but you have to understand that growing a business is really hard, and learning the skills that you need to grow and scale a business are skills and experience that you can take with you into any other business that you decide to do. Because yes, all businesses are different, but quite often the fundamentals are all very, very similar. So the truth is, putting my head down and focusing has really given me all of this. And I don't say that in an arrogant way. I say that in a way that the majority of the things in my life that I've always done, I have almost always failed at. And the reason for that is I've never spent enough time really focusing on one thing. And now that I have done that, I've seen that it was the single biggest thing that took me from not really knowing what I was doing, jumping from opportunity to building this business. And the single biggest thing that changed was the fact that I just focused on this for a full year without hesitation, without jumping around to different ideas. I just put every single inch of my being into this business for a full year. And now after a year, we've now hired staff and we're hiring a manager and we're doing all of those things, which really, really, really helps. And now, only now, do I have the opportunity to slowly buy back my time and maybe start to jump into another opportunity that I think could be fun, exciting, and profitable. So I hope that helped. Hope you got some value from that. I'm going to start getting the day going. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. And I will see you in the next one.